Hi there, my name is Tatiana. You're watching YouTube channel You Can. Today is November 11th, 2023, and I'm located in Zone 6B, Central Pennsylvania. Today's video is about blueberry planting. If you have always wanted to plant blueberries but did not know where to start, this video is for you. Or maybe you planted them and they died. This video might give you some answers to questions about why blueberries die and why blueberries thrive. So blueberries are a low competitive plant, meaning that if there is competition for water, nutrients, sunlight, blueberries give up. They don't fight. They're not fighters. Don't be a blueberry in life. There are some key factors that will help you have a successful blueberry crop. 1, they need lots of sunlight. 2, they need well-drained soil but lots of water. 3, they need acidic soil, which you could get that by using peat moss or sulfur, and lots of organic matter. So we've been working on getting our backyard into a cozy, relaxing area. With a fire pit, and we've planted some hazelnuts. This is a Theta, and this is Jefferson. By the way, if you ever plant hazelnuts, you need 2 for cross-pollination. And then we decided to plant this blueberry row here to create this nice little walkway area to the chicken coop, but also to have lots of blueberries because we were very crazy about berries. Anyway, so we're going to plant some more blueberries because we're very crazy over here between the birch tree and the dogwood. By the way, folks, if you're looking for great prices on very expensive plants, a good time to go to nurseries and buy those up is in the fall. Actually, fall is a wonderful time to plant trees. Most people think that, springtime is the time to plant. In reality, it's not the ideal time to plant. The ideal time to plant any kind of trees, berry bushes, shrubs is in the fall because all the leaves and the outside, the visible part of the tree is dormant, but that's when the root system is actually actively growing. So fall is the perfect time to plant trees, and it's the perfect time to plant trees because nurseries are trying to get rid of them because these plants are going to get frost bitten because they're in pots, so the pot gets frozen through and kills the plant. So they try to move that inventory out of their care for the winter. So that's perfect, time to buy up plants that are usually really costly at a very low price. So I got this dogwood tree at the local nursery for $20. Usually dogwood trees in our area run between $150 to $250. So I felt like I scored on that. So back to blueberries, we are going to plant 3 blueberry bushes right here, and we'll prep this and take you on the journey with us. So ideally, blueberry bushes need 2.5 foot to 3 foot spacing in between plants. If you're planting a blueberry farm, it's probably 2.5 feet to kind of save on space, and that's enough of room in between plants for them to be productive. Maybe if you're doing it in a home setting, to be able to walk around the bush, you would want to space it at 3 feet. But we're going to be doing 2.5 feet here. So what I'm doing here is I will make an area for this blueberry plant. We don't have very well-drained soil here, so we're not going to dig a typical hole that you would typically when planting trees or other berry bushes. Because like I had said before, blueberries are not competitive. They're not going to fight for their life. They just give up and die if they have to push through clay. They won't push through clay soil. So what I'm doing is I'm making a small hole for the blueberry bush to sit in with just the bottom part of the root ball, but I'm going to berm it up and use the peat moss and organic matter to create the volume of soil that I need to create that space for the blueberry roots to grow into. So we dug this almost like a trench here. We're not done digging it yet, but we have half a wheelbarrow of soil from here, into which I will add the same volume of peat moss. So there's 50% soil, 50% peat moss. Now, with this, you can also use, instead of using soil, you can use construction sand. That's what we did for that row over there that I showed earlier, but we used sand and peat moss and pine needles mixed with wood chips. So this is the stuff for organic matter that we add that helps with better drainage of soil, and it's about a 5-gallon bucket full to a wheelbarrow full of half and half of peat moss and soil. We ran out of sand, so that's why we're using soil. Yeah. So now I'm just mixing it in the wheelbarrow, making sure that I break up all the big clumps of clay, dirt that we have here, take out any rocks, and just make sure this is all really well mixed. So because I have more digging to do, I'm going to take this up here and dump this mixed soil into this spot right here so we can backfill with it then. So this is about as deep as we will be making this area for the blueberry plants. Like I said, blueberries need well-drained soil. Lots of water, but well-drained soil. They do not tolerate swampy, boggy, poor-drained soil. So we are going to be planting them up, berming the mixture that we made there up to the plant to cover the roots. But in order for the drainage to happen well here, I need to kind of dig up and loosen up all the soil in the bottom here as well. So I am going to put some peat moss into here. Remember, blueberries need acidic soil to thrive. They will not do well in soil that is more alkaline than 5.0. 4.5 to 5.0 acidity is what they need, and you can create that environment by using peat moss or by using sulfur. We are using peat moss, so that's why I'm mixing it into here. Dump some, and then I will, that's about enough. And I will go through with my shovel and just kind of mix it really well with the soil that was loosened up in here. So I also have this 5-gallon bucket of pine needles. You can use wood chips, bark, anything. This is what I have right now, so that's what I'm using. And also mix it in really well. So this area is all prepped, and I have 3 blueberry bushes here. We're going to set them in just a little bit deeper than just on the surface. But it's important to break up the root ball just a little bit. As you can see, this one, like you can see, it's the shape of the pot that it was in. But just take a look at these super, super tiny, tiny little roots. Like, they are microscopic. For a plant like this, if we were looking at roots of, like, let's say a aronia berry or josta berry or gooseberry, you'd see big, thick roots. This is like tiny little roots. So So you don't want to damage them, but kind of just damage them too much, but just kind of break them up just a bit to promote some lateral growth here. So you can see that I've worked this up a little bit. You don't really want to plant plants that are root pot bound without breaking up the roots, because they tend to stay in that root bound area and pattern of growing, and they don't do well. They eventually die. So I have it pretty much freed up here on the bottom, and you can see these slightly bigger roots here in the center. So that's about it for breaking the roots up. So what I will do now is I will use my hands to kind of make an indentation here, the circumference of the root ball that I have there. And I will set this way. As you can see, this plant is completely lopsided. It's all the branches are pointing in one direction. So I want to point them up the slope so that it promotes new growth to go this way in the spring. So I want to plant it a little bit deeper than this. So I will remove some more soil from here. Okie doke, I think that's about right. Yeah, that's where I want it. So I will leave this here and I will plant the next one, which this one we got at a different place. And you can see that this one is not nearly as root bound, and they mixed peat moss and sand to plant this blueberry. And the roots here are not root bound at all. It's a nice, healthy plant that doesn't really need a lot of anything before planting. So as you can see, we're planting these on a slope. I want my plants to be horizontal with the horizon. So I don't want them to be like this. That is going to stress the plant, and it's going to grow in a crooked manner, trying to straighten out so that it's perpendicular to the horizon, or I mean horizontal to the horizon this way. So here I want to set it straight and then fill it with soil and level this remainder out, but so that my plant is straight up and down. Yay, it's time to backfill. So I'm using the soil that we prepped to basically fill all of this back up. So a cool thing about blueberries, so you can see these big buds right here on the tips. Those are actually the flowering buds, and each of those buds will produce between 10 to 15 flowers, which will turn into berries. And then the smaller buds right here lower down on the stems are the ones that will produce stems in the springtime. So if you are thinking about pruning your blueberry bushes, you want to keep that in mind so that you're not cutting off all your flowering tips. All right, so another key factor to remember when planting any kind of trees or shrubs is that you do not want the soil that you're putting up around the plant to pile up around the stems or the branches, because if that happens, the tree or the shrub is not able to send roots out of the stems. The root system is right where the root system starts, down below. So if you pile soil up around the stems, they're actually going to start rotting. There's going to be lots of insects nibbling at the area where the soil is touching. The moisture is going to go in and your plant will die eventually. So you want to make sure that the soil level is just like it was in the pot, and then work your soil around the plant so that you have it nice and level, or however you want it. But don't pile soil up around the stem, the bottom part of the plant. Because our yard is sloped, I'm going to work this soil down just to create a nice evened out landscape so I don't have an abrupt bump or hill. So it looks nice as well as productive. So if this wouldn't have been on a slope, like those blueberries over there, they're on a flatter area, I would have set these right on the surface without making any indentations or like digging any holes in the soil, because blueberry plants do not like to compete for nutrients, cannot break soil, hard, compact soil up, need well-drained soil, but lots of water. So it's okay to plant blueberries on the surface as long as you have a mixture of peat moss and organic matter and construction sand or soil mixed together so that it gives them a nice fluffy area to spread their roots in. And as long as those roots are covered, you don't actually have to plant them into a hole if you don't want to. If you have enough of space or area where you can mound the soil up and plant them in that. So blueberries, like I said, like lots of water, but it needs to be well-drained soil. So we are going to be throwing a drip irrigation pipe through here to water these blueberries a little bit later, maybe this year, maybe next year, but we will take you on that journey when we are doing that. So if you are planning to plant blueberries and want to grow them on some kind of scale larger than a couple plants for backyard eating, you might want to consider placing them in an area where you could easily put an irrigation system in. All right, folks, thanks for watching the video. It is all for today on blueberry planting. We potentially will have blueberry plants for sale on our website, linked below, come springtime. But if you found this video helpful, please hit a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.